Updates, big changes coming to real estate as of December 1st. We are currently run by the REBA, Real Estate Business Brokers Act, but as of December 1st, we are changing over to the new acronym TRESA, which is the Trust in Real Estate Services Act. And one of the biggest changes that's coming with TRESA is how we handle multiple offers. I'm very curious to know your thoughts on this. I will give you a breakdown of how this is going to affect you going forward and what is going to happen. So here we go. So open bidding, as you guys know, with what we experienced the past few years, is allowed in Ontario as long as all parties consent. And with this new act, there is going to be massive changes to this. So with TRESA Sellers will now have the full authority to decide how they want to handle offers, how they want them disclosed at any point during the negotiation. Not at the beginning, not at the end, not just in the middle, but all the way through. They now, as of December 1st, will have the power to change their mind at any point in the negotiation. So currently right now, when we're negotiating with an offer, we are not allowed to disclose the contents. Now, if we were to get in writing from the seller, we want to have an open negotiation, for example, and we're all sitting in a room together and we all have an open discussion, then that's legit on the table. We can talk about it. Right now, with blind bidding, so when we're holding offers, and I will get into this at the end, blind bidding, holding offers is not all bad. There are certain reasons why certain agents will use it. I will talk about this at the end. It can be very effective if you want a particular outcome or need certain things to happen. It's not a money grab if it's used appropriately. So what does this mean for blind bidding? Well, a seller can decide, I want to do blind bidding during the offer process. Maybe they decide they want to do this middle of the process. Maybe they decide that they don't want to disclose anything at all. They can change their minds at any point during the offer negotiations as to what they want to disclose and when they want to disclose it. So, for example, if they only want to disclose the top price of an offer to the other people, then they can disclose that. Or maybe they decide they want to disclose the price of the top 3 offers. They can decide that they want to disclose that. Maybe they decide they don't want to disclose anything at all. Or perhaps they want to disclose what the conditions are in the offer, or maybe not disclose any of the conditions. And here's the biggest caveat is they don't have to make that decision going in at the beginning. They don't have to inform all the buyers at the beginning, basically saying, this is how we're holding the offers. So we could all go into an offer presentation and have everything present. And then all of a sudden the sellers can say, I changed my mind, guys. I want to disclose what the top 2 offers are only and nothing else. And then those offers are handed out back to the buyers. And then the situation could be that, nope, now I want to disclose no more of the money, but I want to disclose the conditions as well of all the offers. So then it goes back out, comes back, and then we decide. You decide. Sorry, we represent you. How do you think this is going to play itself out? In my opinion, personally, I kind of think it's a bit BS. I don't think that it makes for a fair playing ground. I get it. They're the sellers. It's their house. They can do whatever they want. However, in a blind bidding situation, it is very stressful. And you got to, what we experienced the last few years in COVID was you pay to play. You want to buy the house, you overpay for the house. That's what happened. I personally don't subscribe to that. I don't believe in it. This is one of the reasons why housing is in the disaster market that it is right now, in conjunction with feds printing money, interest rates, blah, blah, blah. I've talked about that a gazillion times. You've all heard it. So the biggest caveat out of all this is the sellers can change their mind at any point during the negotiation. So personally, I think this is going to be very confusing for buyers going in to a negotiation and putting an offer in. I think it's going to add a whole new layer to the negotiation process as if we're in a blind bidding situation. And because we don't know what we're walking into, it also adds, in my opinion, a whole new level of stress for buyers and agents. I mean, it's based on our negotiation skills. So if I'm a buyer's agent, I'm advocating for you to get the best value for you. If I'm a seller's agent, I'm advocating as well for you to get the best value for you. And best value doesn't mean $200,000 over list. Best value means market value. Market value is what somebody is willing to pay for a property. So keep that in mind. We have a problem in housing right now because our housing market is incredibly inflated. So if we're walking into a negotiation and the seller on a whim decides to change their mind, then we have to, with respects, disclose or not disclose during the negotiation, whatever it is. They can change at any point in time and choose to disclose what they want or not what they want. So there is a caveat that is supposedly beneficial to the buyer. I don't necessarily think that this is beneficial to the buyer, but we can now include a clause that states that if buyers do not at any point in time want to play this way, we can include a clause that says that in any time during the open bidding process, that their offer becomes null and void should the seller choose to open up and disclose the contents of the offer during the negotiation process. Sounds a bit punitive, don't you think? I don't necessarily know how well that's going to work out for a buyer, because the reality is the buyer puts that in there and says, if you don't do this, Scotty, then I'm going to pull my offer. But really, we're in the seller's sandbox here. The seller gets to decide whatever they want to do. And if the buyer inserts this clause and says, I don't want to play the way you want to play, Scotty, and if you do, I'm going to penalize you, doesn't work that way. But does seller really? Do you think the seller really cares if the seller has 5 offers and one of them says, if you do I am going to pull my offer? I don't think so. I think the seller personally will look at that and go, yep, cross that one off my list, one less one to deal with. So what do I see happening from all this? I think it's going to be extremely confusing for every party involved. I think after years of experience in this industry and watching the whole blind bidding process, I think it's definitely something that's contributed greatly to where we are in real estate right now. I think this gives sellers a very imbalanced amount of power in their position, and I think that it allows them to manipulate the offer process throughout the entire thing. I don't think that's a fair negotiation. And in my opinion, a fair negotiation is that everyone walks away from the deal and they're happy. So what does this mean for Canada? Could it yield higher prices? I don't know. We could see a backlash of multiple buyers pulling out in our already very lackluster housing market right now. So it's going to be interesting going forward. I'm very curious to know your thoughts on all of this. The other thing that I want to say and just touch on this is that holding offers is not necessarily a bad thing. I have a situation right now where my sellers are choosing to hold offers. They have a very realistic perspective of market value. They have a very realistic expectation of expecting a market value for their property. We've done all the research. We've pulled all the reports. We are holding offers because we need a finite date. That is all. So that is with good intentions. And I think ultimately these are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Is it with good intentions? So I'm curious to know your thoughts. Please write your comments below. Be nice, be kind, and peace out. Love y'all. Ciao for now. Bye.